allez vivre un moment historique.
What a roar from this crowd. That's amazing.
Bonsoir, Montreal! Ladies and gentlemen,
It's about to go down. World keeps spinning, life keeps taking away. With determined persistence, I'm going the distance. You can't win if you don't even play. Come on. World keeps spinning, time keeps ticking away. Gonna bring out the best in me, fight for my destiny. Nothing is standing my way. Come on.
It is great to be back in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, Ontario, Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Here we go, baby.
Takes you for a big ride. He's got it. Unbelievable. And again he throws him around. Incredible.
Gonna bring out the best in me, fight for my destiny. Nothing can stand in my way. Come on.
Wow. And that's just a press conference. I can't imagine the excitement you guys feel, man, when you're going. I'll be watching. So anyway, it's my pleasure to welcome everyone here today, and especially welcome the UFC team to Halifax. We worked with Tom many times in the past. We've had great success together, and I'm just thrilled yet again be part of this announcement today. This is the first time that UFC has come to Atlantic, Canada, and we're absolutely thrilled to be the chosen facility and have the opportunity to partner and to work on this event. We're very proud of our partnership with UFC Canada. We know enough about this business that it never happens because of one individual organization. It comes down to partnership, and we're very blessed that we've got such a strong partnership and the ability to bring this kind of an event to our province. We all know about the enthusiasm for UFC in this marketplace, and those that don't really have been paying attention, or they should have been maybe on the receiving end of a few phone calls at head office or paid attention to the media lately. But from the moment we announced this event, our phones have been absolutely ringing off the hook, and it is every second question I'm getting is about this October event. So one thing that I'm impressed about our market, Halifax and Nova Scotia, is how we rally around and focus on the events that we attract. In my view, this city is pound for pound is the best host city in this entire country for hosting events, and this province and region absolutely respond with their support and attendance. On event night, there's going to be a buzz in this downtown that will be second to none in this entire country. And October is just around the corner, as we all know. Summer, unfortunately, is coming to an end, but thank goodness we've got some excitement in October. So to the fighters, organizers, and the fans here today, I absolutely want to welcome you all to Halifax and welcome Tom and his team, and look forward to October 4th. And I want to now introduce my friend and partner, Tom Wright.
Thanks very much, Scott. It is absolutely fantastic to be here in Atlantic, Canada. My name is Tom Wright. I'm the managing director for the UFC in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here to welcome our fighters to this great city, and to thank Scott and the Halifax Metro Centre for the opportunity to host our event here on October the 4th. We've got a few people I'd like to introduce in the audience from the Nova Scotia Boxing Authority. Chairman Mickey McDonald, who is over here on my left, and Commissioner Mr. Hubert Earl, who is just on Mickey's right, I think, back there. So where is he? There, he's right over here on my side. It's great to have you here. You know, when we I also want to thank everybody for, particularly our great friends at Sportsnet 360, who are streaming this press conference live, and it's also available on UFC.com. So to our great friends at Sportsnet, thank you very much. When we opened up the office in Canada back in May of 2010, we had a pretty simple but a very focused mandate, and that mandate was to take our sport, our great athletes, and the UFC to as many communities across Canada as possible. Back in 2010, we had only held events in Montreal, Quebec. And since then, we have now expanded our sport and taken our athletes and our brand to 6 different provinces, to 6 different cities. And for me personally, I've always wanted to be able to make the announcement that we are actually going coast to coast, because you really aren't a sport in this country until you have touched both of our country's oceans. And it was just last June that we were in Vancouver, and now we find ourselves many, many thousands of kilometers east of there, 4 time zones in Atlantic Canada, in Halifax. And we couldn't be more happy to bring our sport, as I said, and our fighters to this great city. I'm going to introduce our fighters now, and I'm actually going to introduce them and ask them each a couple of questions. And then I want to talk a bit about some other initiatives we have here in Halifax planned for Fight Week, which of course is the week leading up to Saturday, October the 4th, when UFC Fight Night Halifax will be featured across this country and across the world for MMA fans and UFC fans to enjoy. On my extreme right, we have TJ Grant, who needs no introduction in this province, native son of Halifax and from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, a lightweight who has represented our sport and our country so very, very well during his tremendous career. On my extreme left is our first ever fighter from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, another Atlantic Canadian, Jason Segel, who had his UFC debut just this past June in Vancouver and won in a spectacular fashion in the first round. On my immediate left, from Temecula, California, by way of originally from Belgium, is Tarek Safandine, a welterweight former champion of the Strikeforce, who is 1-0 in the UFC and is very much looking forward to climbing up the ranks. He's number 9 in our welterweight ranks, but there's an individual who is on my immediate right, Mr. Rory McDonald, who he was ranked number 2 in the welterweight division, and clearly is going to be in Tarek's way as he wants to move up, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Rory in a few minutes. Rory is started in this sport at the tender age of 14. He fought professionally for the first time at the age of 16. He is a veteran of 19-20 fights. His record in the UFC is 8-2. But he is a young veteran of our sport, and like TJ has represented the UFC and represented Canada incredibly well across the entire world as he's moved steadily up the ranks as a welterweight. But before I might tell you a bit more information about the on sale, I actually want to ask these guys a couple of questions, and I'm going to start with Jason. Jason, you're from Atlantic Canada. As I said in my opening remarks, you are the first fighter we've ever had from Prince Edward Island, Canada's smallest, but in many ways one of the most beautiful provinces we have. What's it like? How do you feel representing your province and being here in Atlantic Canada for the first time?
I feel great being being in Atlantic Canada and representing PEI. There's a lot of support on the island, and I've been training really hard for this fight, getting ready, and it's good to have the whole community behind me, so I'm looking forward to performing on October 4th.
Well, you're no longer a rookie. You had a great introduction in Vancouver. Tell us a bit more about the support from PEI. I think PEI, being a small province, is probably not known as being a mecca for MMA. What's the support been like?
That's right. That's right. It is a small community, so it's great just, walking to the local grocery store and just people coming up to you, say hey and congratulations, and asking me about this next fight and just how the training's going, and just full support. Everyone is very big on MMA and lots of followers, people following the sport. They want to know what's going on. There's going to be a ton of people from PEI coming out here to Halifax on October 4th, so it's going to be an awesome show.
That's great. Ladies and gentlemen, lightweight Jason Segel from Charlottetown, PEI. On my extreme right, but I was chatting with TJ this morning, and You know, he's been to many of these press conferences, but I think this is the first one he's ever had to attend that he only had to drive to. He didn't have to go to an airport. And I think the drive here was closer than driving to the airport. TJ, it's great to have you here. Thank you so very much. You know, you have seen the growth of our sport from its very modest beginnings to where it is now. Is there anything surprised you in how the sport has developed over the last 4 or 5 years? I mean, it's really been remarkable. But you know, from a fighter's perspective, specifically here in Canada, what sort of things have you seen?
Like you said, just reaching all the different communities, coming from coast to coast. This is just really a massive thing to happen to Atlantic Canada, and I'm just thankful that it's happening in my time, and I'm looking forward to the show. It's gonna be awesome.
That's great. TJ is not on the card, but the really encouraging thing is that he's back to training, and you must be happy about that. How's it feel?
It feels good. I mean, it's definitely been a challenging year for me, but I'm near the end of it, and I'm looking forward to resuming my career soon. I hope to be ready to fight this fall, and I'm really close. I still can't put like a percentage or a timetable, but I'm optimistic and I feel confident going forward.
Great. Well, Cole Harbour has provided many interesting and strong athletes. There's one other guy that I think you guys may know, but we couldn't be more happy that TJ is here representing our sports. So from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, TJ Grant. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
On my left, the number 9 ranked welterweight in the UFC, former Strikeforce champion, Tarek Safandine is, as I said, he's fighting now out of Temecula, California. He had a bit of a trek to get here by way of Belgium, but he's won 5 straight, including his UFC debut in January. And Tarek, it must be interesting for you. You've only had 1 fight in the UFC. But if there's a division that seems stacked now, it's the welterweight division. What's your perspective on the whole welterweight division and how it's shaping up?
It's been quite crazy, for the past year and a half, 2.5, since GSP left the division. Everybody is, I believe, is 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot in the top 10, top 15. So it's pretty stacked, and I'm super excited to be part of it.
That's great. It's interesting. You called out Rory. You wanted this fight. What makes why do you think you stack up so well against Rory?
I believe I stack up pretty well. I watched his last fight against Tyron, and it was a great fight. But I truly believe that my style can match up pretty well with his style. While I was watching the fight, I could tell that I have the tools to stylistically match up really well with him. And I think we can put on an amazing fight on October 4th. I'm training really, really hard for this fight and on putting on an amazing fight and get that W.
Great. So like I said before, the UFC, one of the great things about our sport is it is a global sport. We've got fighters from all around the world, including originally from Belgium. Please welcome Tarek Safandine. On my immediate right, the number 2 ranked welterweight in the UFC, Rory Erez McDonald, needs no introduction in this country, and needs no introduction here. Like I said earlier, he's a 25-year-old who is really a very young but a very seasoned veteran. He's finished 12 of his 16 victories, 6 by submission, 6 by TKO KO, including 7 first-round finishes. But the event that he and Tarek are headlining on November the 4th will be Rory's first ever headlining, first ever main event. How are you preparing any differently for 5 rounds, Rory? This is the first time you're going to be challenged to go 5 rounds potentially.
Yeah, this is I think my second 5-round fight, first in the UFC. So, I believe it's a little bit better for my style to go a longer distance, so I'm very excited to do 5-minute rounds with Tarek. It's going to be an interesting test, and I'll be well prepared.
Speaking about that main event, one of the things that Dana White, our president, has always talked about, if you've never had the chance to watch our UFC event live, you owe it to yourself, because there's nothing quite like the energy, there's nothing quite like the excitement, there's nothing quite like the noise of a live UFC event. And the Halifax Metro Centre will be no exception. What if you were to say to UFC fans out there, what that have never come to a live event, and what should they look for? What are they going to see on Saturday, October the 4th, Rory?
Well, from a fan's perspective, if you've never been to a UFC fight, I think the one thing everyone walks away with is the energy in the building and watching these fights. There's no other event like it. The UFC energy that they bring to each and every fight is spectacular. It's one of a kind, and I definitely plan on having a spectacular performance and putting on a good show for everyone here in Halifax.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 welterweight in the UFC, Rory MacDonald. A little bit of housekeeping before I introduce some individuals from the Canadian Armed Forces to talk about our UFC Community Works event. Very important information in terms of ticket sales. Fight Club ticket sales will go on sale this Wednesday. That's tomorrow, August the 20th at 10 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. Thursday at 10 o'clock, the 21st of August, we will have a special UFC newsletter on sale. And then sales to the general public on ticketatlantic.com will go in effect on Friday, August the 22nd, again at 10 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. So Friday to the general public on ticketatlantic.com. Now, one of the things that I think everybody in the room should be aware of is that the UFC started many years ago here in Canada an initiative called UFC Community Works. We feel very strongly that when we have an opportunity to come into a community like Halifax, like Nova Scotia, it's important for us to give back to that community because that community is supporting our sport and is supporting our athletes. So we initiated a program called UFC Community Works, the idea being that if you do good works in a community, communities work well together. And today is no exception of that. We have partnered with the Canadian Armed Forces for the UFC Fight Night MacDonald versus Safandine. And it's my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Pierre Haché. Ask him to come up for minutes to say a few things. We are donating a large block of tickets to the Armed Forces here. We're also providing an opportunity for the Armed Forces to purchase tickets with a special discount. Sometimes we tend to forget the incredible work that is done, the support that we get, and the feeling of security that our armed forces provide to Canadians, not only here but from coast to coast to coast. We're very fortunate to live in this great country, and we're very fortunate to have individuals like the Lieutenant Colonel Pierre Haché to support our efforts. Also, we have Master Corporal Mark Collins, who, when Scott Ferguson at the beginning was saying, ever since this was announced, the phones at the Metro Center have been ringing out the hook. Well, I think the first phone call we got was from Master Corporal Mark Collins, really excited about this event. And so thank you for your initiative, for your stick-to-itiveness, and we're thrilled to be able to introduce Lieutenant Colonel here.
So I used to think that lacrosse was the toughest sport out there until I started watching some UFC fights, and definitely mixed martial arts is where toughness is. Tom, I want to thank you for your generosity in supporting the Canadian Armed Forces. I'm representing 14 Wing, but I'm also representing the Canadian Armed Forces at large. We have a very large naval presence here in Halifax, and of course at 14 Wing in Greenwood, we have the largest Air Force base on the eastern seaboard in Canada. So we're thrilled to partner with Tom and UFC Canada, and I'm also very excited to say that we're going to welcome you on the 3rd of October and a couple of your fighters. We're going to put on a very nicely hosted event. I think we're going to try to get you close to some of our operations, what's going on at 14 Wing in terms of Air Force support to the nation. So hopefully this will be a partnership that's going to be enduring, and we're going to keep on working with you over time.
Thank you very much. We're so excited about taking some of our guest fighters up to Greenwood on the 3rd of October. It's going to be a great experience. Just in closing, the fighters are all going to be available for one-on-one interviews following the press conference and after I square the fighters off again. Once again, I just want to remind everybody about tickets going on sale to our Fight Club tomorrow, to our newsletters on Thursday, and on Friday, August the 22nd at 10 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time on ticketatlantic.com. Tickets to UFC Fight Night Halifax will go on sale. I would be remiss if I didn't remind you to watch your televisions this weekend. Sportsnet 360, UFC Fight Night, Henderson versus Dos Anjos from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which will be a great fight. But we're also excited about what's going to happen here on October the 4th to the Nova Scotia Sports Hall of Fame. Bill Robinson, the executive director here. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank you for your support, and very much looking forward to hosting the UFC here on October the 4th and allowing these amazing athletes to show Atlantic Canada just how skilled and how professional they are. Thank you very much. I'm going to square the fighters off now for a second. Yeah, we're going to come up front. Come on around front.
Here we go. Both men know what's on the line here. Now is the time. Oh, wow. Powerful shots by Rory. He does everything perfect. Truly a war. Here we go. Both men know what's on the line here. Now is the time. Oh, wow. Powerful shots by Rory. He does everything perfect.